I really like Jake a lot, but once he's in that ring, he has to fight like his life is dependent on it, because it will be.
When in your career are you going to actually fight a contender in your weight class and not do gimmick fights?
I mean, the skill level alone, now of course, there is a size difference, a height difference and all that, but he's just going to struggle so much landing a shot. It's just going to look bad.
In a shocking turn of events, boxing legend Mike Tyson made a surprise appearance at the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis press conference, instantly electrifying the atmosphere. With his trademark intensity, Tyson issued a chilling warning to YouTuber-turned-boxer, telling Paul to fight like your life depends on it. He reminded the crowd and Paul that stepping into the ring with a ruthless fighter like Gervonta Davis is no game. The moment left fans buzzing and the tension at an all-time high.
If you saw Jake Paul's fat body videos, and if you think he's taking his training seriously for you.
Listen, I think he's taking it very, very seriously because his health depends on it. And yeah, he's nobody I'm not looking past him. I'm taking him lightly at all.
The highly anticipated Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis clash has taken an unexpected turn. It's now officially deemed an exhibition match. The decision comes after the Florida Athletic Commission refused to sanction it as a professional bout, citing the significant weight and size disparity between the two fighters. Under finalized rules, both men will battle through 10 rounds of 3 minutes each, wearing 12-ounce gloves. Despite its exhibition status, knockouts will still count, keeping the stakes high and the tension real. Adding a groundbreaking twist, the fight's result will be determined by 2 human judges and 1 AI judge, marking the first-ever hybrid scoring system in boxing history, a bold step toward greater fairness and transparency in the sport.
The Jake Paul versus Tank fight is getting really weird. Gervonta looks scared for his life because the rules are out. They're crazy. Oh, so everyone thought that the fight was at 190. It was 190. He said it's at 195, and this weight difference is scaring the life out of little Tank.
Over 10 3-minute rounds.
I said it was 190.
The next dispute comes with the gloves. Little Tank is used to fighting in 8-ounce gloves. Baby glove. This fight will be in 12. Hands might be too small. Oh, so Tank just fought in a 12 3-minute round fight against Roach. Yes, and now he's fighting in 10 3-minute rounds, which isn't too bad. Well done, Jake. Exhibition though, can he win? Yes, he can actually win. It will be overlooked by 3 sanctioned judges. So he can actually still win and knock him out. But here's the trick. It's body punches only. And there's a reason. That's because Tank said, look, this is a bit unfair. I don't want to punch up. I want to punch at my head height. Where does it fall? At Jake Paul's belly. Oof. So apparently we've heard there's no knockdown rules, but aside from that, it's a pretty well-rounded fight. Oh yeah, and there's some drug testing involved. But Jake Paul for the win.
Recent reports reveal that Gervonta Davis has packed on considerable size during his current training camp, now said to be walking around at nearly 160 pounds, a sharp rise from his usual 135-pound lightweight frame. Though Davis has never competed at this weight before, the bulk-up strategically aligns him with the agreed catch weight for his upcoming exhibition showdown against Jake Paul. Experts believe this transformation could enhance Davis's power, resilience, and overall explosiveness, turning him into an even more formidable and unpredictable force once the bell rings.
Yep. Gervonta Tank Davis, is my prediction that Gervonta Tank Davis is going to weigh in on the night of the fight against Jake Paul, knocking on 160 pounds. Don't be surprised if he's 157 pounds, something like that. You guys see this footage? Look at Tank. Now, if you know what you're looking at, the guy must be around 150 right now, 153, something like that. And you can really tell when he's sideways. When you look at him sideways and see the depth. See, from the front view, you can't really tell. But when he turns sideways, the guy is a wrecking ball. He's literally a baby rhino out there. And I think that is the idea for him to bulk up and be a little powerhouse out there. And I'm all for it. I'm going to tell you in this video why I think that's the best thing for Tank and why I think he will be knocking on 160 pounds.
Veteran boxing analyst Teddy Atlas has hailed Gervonta Tank Davis as one of the most complete fighters in the sport today. He commended Davis not just for his explosive knockout power and killer instinct, but also for his razor-sharp counterpunching, impeccable distance control, and high-level ring IQ. According to Atlas, what truly separates Davis from the rest is his ability to stay composed, strategic, and precise, even in the most intense moments of a fight. Atlas emphasized that Davis isn't a brawler who relies solely on strength. Instead, he's a patient tactician, always reading his opponent and thinking 2 steps ahead. In Atlas's eyes, those qualities give Davis a clear edge against Jake Paul, a fighter who's still developing his technique and lacks the refined skill set of an elite, world-class boxer.
The only other time he was in for the fans to get mad with that was against Fury's, Tommy Fury, but it wasn't that level, obviously, and all the size things you just rightfully pointed out. But he would have been in there with, it seemed crazy. You're going to go in there with a guy who was a 2-time heavyweight champ and a gold medalist? Wow. Even though the guy's, at a twilight part of his career, still.
And you've given a lot of credit and props to Jake Paul on this show of helping get more eyeballs to the sport, but the way he takes it serious and goes about his approach and his work to this craft, that he does take it seriously. With that being said, when he announces Tank Davis, I'm getting tired of these gimmick fights and him loading the deck up. Whether it was Chavez Jr. or an old Mike Tyson, or we could go on and on with some of the UFC guys and the great Anderson Silva at 46 years of age. Tank Davis, great fighter, current fighter, world champion. We know how good he is. Been a top 10 pound-for-pound guy for you for the last few years now. But he's 5'5" and 135 pounds. This sounds like it would be a 195-pound fight, an exhibition. Wouldn't count on their records. Not a whole lot of other details other than it will be in November, and it sounds like in Atlanta. But I've said enough. I just want to hear your take. What do you make of this news with Jake Paul and Tank Davis?
But, and I'm smiling a little bit. But back in the day, I love the 1800s, 1700s, my friend out there, 1700s, whatever. But I love the old-time fighters. They were catchweights. And there was guys like Sam Langford. I know Sam Langford shouldn't even be comparing him with this.
Despite Gervonta Davis's elite skill set and newly bulked-up physique, former super middleweight champion Carl Froch has sounded a serious warning ahead of the bout. Froch cautioned that Jake Paul's natural size and unpredictable punching power could present real danger, emphasizing that Davis won't be used to being hit like that. His comments reflect a growing unease within the boxing world, where many see this matchup less as a true competition and more as a high-risk spectacle. Critics argue that the event blurs the line between sport and showmanship, raising pressing concerns about legitimacy, safety, and whether entertainment value is being placed above the fighter's well-being.
Just here at Los Naranjos in Viva, España, and I found out that Gervonta Davis is now fighting Jake Paul. So Jake Paul was supposed to be fighting AJ. Eddie Hearn announced 99% done, which we've just spoke about. What next for AJ? Potentially Jake Paul. But it now looks like that Jake Paul is fighting one of Anthony Joshua's legs. He's fighting Gervonta Davis, somebody who's a quarter of his size. I don't even know what's going on. Has Eddie Hearn been played? Let me know what you think. But the AJ fight with Jake Paul's finished. Gervonta Davis, fake Paul, November. I don't know what's going on in the world of boxing. This is an absolute joke. What next for AJ? We'll get into this, and there's so many questions I want to get into in the next episode. But hope you enjoyed this one. And yeah, just thought I'd give you a quick update because the news has just come in and I'm just trying to relax and play a bit of golf and I can't. I've got to get it off my chest. I'm going to add it to this video. Hope you enjoy it. Don't forget, if you haven't already, hit like, share and subscribe to the best channel in the business, Froch on Fighting, and we'll see you very soon.
Former world champion Carl Froch has sounded a serious alarm over the safety risks surrounding the upcoming Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis exhibition, highlighting the massive 65-pound weight disparity between the two fighters. Froch warned that such an extreme size gap could pose genuine danger, stressing that even elite skill can't fully counter the physical force of a much larger opponent. His comments have reignited debate across the boxing community, with many questioning whether this fight has drifted beyond the boundaries of sport and into the realm of an unsafe spectacle.
My name was mentioned at his press conference and he shit himself, and the fight was just absolutely fucking diabolical again. I've said before, he's not a professional boxer. He never will be. And he proves time and time again that he's not a professional fighter. So, Jake Paul, go on, piss off.
I mean, I don't really take Jake Paul that serious. He can't really box. He can have a little fight, he can have a swing. He swings away, stands up straight, and he throws punches, but it's not professional boxing. Because when I watch him box, he does so much wrong. It's just, everything's wrong. It's so bad. He's got leaky defence. He telegraphs his punches. Like, you put him in with someone his own size, it was a professional, and it's a mismatch. And you'll see that if he ends up fighting somebody. Tommy Fury, bless him, he's a pro boxer, but he's inexperienced. He's got no amateur pedigree. He's a raw novice, or maybe just above the raw novice. I was saying earlier, where would I put him in terms of levels? He'd do well to win a British title. He's at that sort of level. And then from British title to world level, it's like different worlds. It's like totally different. It's like a different sport.
After Jake Paul's decisive win over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., a fresh debate has erupted in the boxing world. Is Paul finally ready to face legitimate top 15 or top 20 competition? Rising prospect Emiliano Vargas believes the YouTube-turned-fighter may have earned the right to test himself against higher-tier opponents, but skepticism still runs deep among boxing purists. Promoter Eddie Hearn acknowledged Paul's steady improvement, admitting that he's moving in the right direction and could soon merit consideration for a WBC ranking. Still, Hearn was quick to point out that a host of battle-tested, world-level fighters remain well ahead of Paul in both experience and credibility. The discussion underscores a persistent divide surrounding Paul's boxing journey, between those who view him as an evolving contender and those who argue that his resume, built largely on aging veterans and unconventional matchups, falls short of proving he's truly ready for the elite stage.
Shots at the end. Any of them hurt you?
I just think Chavez didn't get started. That's the only thing. I mean, you can't win.
I want to be world champion. Zerto looks slow as shit tonight.
You can't win if you don't throw, you know, so it was kind of like the Ryan Garcia-Rollies thing. You know, Rollies didn't, I mean, Ryan really didn't get started, so, you know.
What did you think about how Jake looked and then fought?
Hey, you know what?
You're very tough.
If he sucked ass, he sucked ass, but he actually looks pretty good. There's people who walk into the gym, you can tell right away if they can box or not, so. He can box, he's selling out, you know, obviously this arena, and the only thing I can do is take a page out of his book and, you know, put it towards my showmanship, so.
You think he's ready for someone like top 15, top 20?
I mean, look, you know, he knows who to fight. Obviously, he's, you know, growing in his career. If he really wants to make a career, I wish him nothing but the best. But I just think that, you know, it's going to be a little longer until then.
Thank you, Emmy. Appreciate it. Oh, give us an update about you. You got a date coming up.
July 26th, Madison Square Garden. I'm ripped up. I'm ready to go. Ran with Manny Pacquiao yesterday, and you know, 15-0 on the way. Let's go, baby.
Thank you, I appreciate it, man.
My brother, appreciate it.
The possibility of Jake Paul earning a WBC ranking has ignited outrage among veteran fighters and boxing traditionalists who argue it undermines the sport's competitive integrity. Among the loudest critics is seasoned heavyweight Derek Chisora, who insists that genuine boxers earn their place through years of sacrifice, relentless training, and victories over proven opponents. Chisora blasted the notion of granting Paul a ranking based on celebrity status or promotional value rather than merit, calling it a disrespect to those who have fought their way up the hard way, to him and many within the boxing community. Such a move doesn't represent progress, but rather a dangerous precedent, one that risks turning boxing's long-standing honor system into nothing more than a popularity contest.
The WBC have said they're going to give a cruiserweight ranking to the winner of this fight. Do you think they deserve one?
No, I don't think so. I don't know why. It's hard enough for real athletes, for real boxers, to get those rankings, and then suddenly this Solomon Sousa decides to give double ranking because he's getting some greens in his, in his back pocket. No, that is disgrace to boxing.
Sports analyst Stephen A. Smith has drawn sharp attention to massive size and pedigree gap in the upcoming Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis clash. He noted that while Paul usually weighs in well over 200 pounds, Davis is a lightweight champion who competes around 135, making the mismatch impossible to ignore and impossible for fans or critics to overlook. Smith questioned whether staging such drastically uneven, high-profile events truly benefits the sport or merely erodes its credibility. He warned that boxing risks slipping further into spectacle over substance, where hype and social media buzz overshadow skill, legacy, and true competition. For Smith, the growing trend represents a dangerous shift, one where boxing's heart and heritage risk being replaced by entertainment value alone.
I can't buy the hype at this particular moment in time. Now, I'll give Jake Paul credit for this. At least he's in the ring with a boxer. But 57 years old is 57 years old. And 57 years old and formally walking into a UFC fight as an audience member, as a patron with a cane, it's hard to me to believe a year later that you're going to be in any condition to really, really fight. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't know. And if you're Jake Paul, here's what I want to say to you. It's Mike Tyson, that's fine. It's a money fight, I get you, and you want to make money. But at some point in time, if you keep telling us that you're taking boxing seriously and you want to be recognized as a big-time boxer / fighter, you're going to have to fight somebody closer to your age, who is a contender at the very least in the sport and who lives with it every single day. Could you please get in the ring with somebody? Pretty please with sugar on top. I'm interested.
Following the controversial majority draw between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach in March, Stephen A. Smith delivered a passionate defense of the lightweight champion. Smith reminded fans that Davis's track record and consistency speak louder than any single result, praising him for showing true championship composure by staying poised under scrutiny and unfazed by public criticism. According to Smith, Davis's immediate willingness to accept a rematch wasn't about image management. It was a statement of confidence. It reflected a fighter secure in his skills, unshaken by doubt, and determined to reassert his dominance at the pinnacle of the sport.
Gervonta Davis might be every bit as box office as Maverick himself. As exciting, as electric, because this dude performs every time out, y'all. Wherever Davis goes, wherever he fights, fans justifiably follow. He's that special. And Davis is without a doubt one of the top 5 pound-for-pound fighters in the world right now. Don't you even doubt it.
Stephen A. Smith has been outspoken in his criticism of Gervonta Tank Davis's decision to face Jake Paul, arguing that a world champion taking on such an inexperienced opponent risks damaging his legacy. Smith called the matchup beneath Tank's level, even suggesting that Davis should feel ashamed for agreeing to it. Broadening his critique, Smith condemned the wider trend of mismatched exhibition fights, including Paul's planned bout with Mike Tyson, dismissing them as disheartening spectacles that cheapen the integrity of the sport. He urged Paul to prove himself against active, legitimate contenders, not aging legends or novelty opponents, if he truly wants respect within boxing. For Smith, the message couldn't be clearer. The sport's credibility and future hinge on authentic competition, not celebrity-driven showdowns.
Jake Paul is a professional. At some point in time, I don't give a damn if it's a light heavyweight. Better BF, Bivol, a super middleweight, Canelo, Mexican Monster, David Benavidez, somebody that actually has a reputation. The time has come for Jake Paul to step into the ring with a cat who actually boxes for a living and give us that fight. I appreciate the fact of him promoting. I appreciate him having the cachet as a former YouTuber turned boxer. I like Jake Paul. I respect Jake Paul. I'm just saying, because I like him and because I respect him, I want to see him in the ring. And I don't want to hear, I know his numbers are better, but then he's going to say, I don't need Canelo. Canelo needs me. Well, wait a minute. It ain't just about popularity, bruh.
Gervonta Davis's longtime trainer, Calvin Ford, has never wavered in his belief in the fighter's unmatched dominance. Speaking with Stephen A. Smith, Ford confidently asserted that the only person capable of defeating Tank is Tank himself. In his words, only Tank against Tank. That's the only fight he can lose, underscoring that no opponent has yet forced Davis to reach his absolute limit. Ford elaborated that, despite all of Davis's achievements, fans have only witnessed glimpses of his true potential. His mission, he explained, is to keep refining Davis's skill, discipline, and mentality, guiding him toward a level of greatness that could one day cement his legacy among boxing's all-time elite.
Who do you want to see? You, as a guy that's in his trainer, that's like a father figure to him. You're training him all the time. You know him. Both y'all from the streets of Baltimore the whole bit. Who do you want to see Tank fight next?
I want him to get all of them that ran their mouth.
Give me the names. I need names, Calvin. I need names.
You already know. We went down to, we working on the big four. It was Garcia. That's the first one. Roma, I hope we get him soon. Shakur, he's going to get it. He know he's going to get it. It's just Bob is in charge of that. You know what I'm saying? Bob know what he's doing over there. You can't tell Bob how to run his game because he's like a vet at this. He's been doing it for so many years. That's going to happen. All the fights that we'll want, they have no choice. They're going to take the fight when it's time to take the fight. It's just right now, who's going to take the fight? That's the question.
Shakur Stevenson didn't hold back when addressing the prospect of Gervonta Tank Davis facing Jake Paul, calling it a terrible idea given the drastic size and experience gap between the two. Stevenson argued that Davis should be chasing legitimate championship challenges, not indulging in exhibition spectacles, and urged him to fight a real boxer instead. He even went so far as to label the matchup disrespectful to the sport, especially when compared to the kind of unification bouts that define true champions. Stevenson also emphasized that Davis could earn just as much or more by taking on elite-level opponents, positioning himself as a type of rival who could both test and elevate Tank's legacy. While many share his disdain for the Paul matchup, Stevenson's comments stand out for blending respect for boxing traditions with a direct challenge to Davis to prove his greatness the right way.
Maybe he'll fight Jake Paul instead. What do you think of that?
I think that's terrible.
Why?
I mean, I get it because at the end of the day, it's the money business, and you want to make the most money. But from what I'm hearing, he can make more money in a fight with me. And if that's the case, why not fight me?
Sure. Do you think he beats Jake Paul?
Do I think he beats Jake? Yeah. I mean,
there's a huge size advantage, though.
It is, but I think Tank got the skills to make sure he come out on top.
Do you think that Jake has gone better?
Yeah, I think actually Jake got tremendously better from the time frame that he started till now. And in the right situation, I also could see him become a world champion.
Really?
Yeah.
Joe Budden has argued that Gervonta Tank Davis's decision to accept the Jake Paul fight is both logical and financially strategic. In his view, it's a savvy business move that acknowledges the truth about modern boxing, that the sport has always been as much about money as it is about mastery. Budden believes Davis is simply playing the game smarter than most, seizing the moment while the global spotlight burns brightest. Budden also stirred conversation by pointing to Lamont Roach's cryptic Instagram post, which hinted at a rematch clause in Jake Paul's contract. He speculated that Netflix may have paid to remove that clause to fast-track the massive Paul-Davis showdown, rumored to be worth nearly $100 million. If Roach believed that clause was key, Budden suggested, the revised deal might have left him fighting for nothing. As the event draws near, Budden sees enormous stakes for both men. For Jake Paul, survival may hinge on whether he heeds Mike Tyson's warning and fights like more than just a celebrity. For Gervonta Davis, this is uncharted ground, an opportunity to show that skill, precision, and heart can triumph over size, spectacle, and hype.
Quite surprised because it sounded like Jake Paul and Joshua was getting closer and closer for January. However, there have been rumours of Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul in the past. I think with Gervonta Davis's kind of legal problems in the last month or so and rumours about his retirement, I don't think it's a massive shock that he is taking this Jake Paul fight if it is going to go ahead, purely for the reason that it's a lot of money for maybe not the most difficult job that he's going to have in his career. So it's a strange one, but yeah, it's just another kind of day in the sport, really, isn't it?
Can Jake Paul's hype hold up once the gloves start flying, or will Gervonta Davis's skill and experience expose him under the bright lights? Drop your predictions in the comments below. Who you got winning this one? Boxing Glove Fire.